Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Just when you guys thought that 2024 couldn't get any crazier or weirder, and we haven't even hit the November American elections yet, unfortunately, things have gotten rather crazy and weird and rather outrageous, if you ask me, over in the country of Venezuela. I have been watching this unfold over the last couple of days, and to be honest with you all, I'm not really shocked because election interference for dictators is like second nature or first nature to them. Like they don't go quietly. If you allow a fox into the henhouse, good luck getting that fox out without killing a lot of the chickens because my goodness me, the Venezuelan dictator, Nicolas Maduro, who is, I guess you could call him a parasite to the Venezuelan people. He has killed a lot and ruled with an iron fist, and the people are fed up with him and they want him gone. So they recently had an election, and the opposition to Maduro and his dictatorship, they ended up winning fair and square. He had a lot more support than Maduro did. But get this, when you are a dictator and you control the electoral ballots and everything else under the sun, hey, you can have a fair and square election all you want, right? Evidently not. So Maduro declared himself to be the winner. And then what does he do? During his acceptance speech, I think it might have been his acceptance speech or a little bit after that. And again, just when you thought that things couldn't get any crazier, you have the dictator of an entire country of Venezuela challenging Elon Musk to a fight. And Elon Musk, who is a honey badger, and he's got a mindset that is like the honey badger, and he's not going to let up. Elon Musk, by the way, has been sharing a lot of this Venezuela rubbish over on Twitter for a very long time, ever since it started. And he's going, it's not a fair election. Election interference, big time. And the opposition to Maduro ended up winning fair and square. What the people wanted. He ended up getting 3 million more votes according to the actual count. But nevertheless, Maduro goes, nah, I'm not going to leave office. I'm going to declare myself the victor here. But Elon Musk decided to accept the fight. So we're going to see what happens there. So here is the dictator Maduro challenging Elon Musk to a fight.
Quien se mete conmigo se seca. Quien se mete con Venezuela se seca en los Musk. ¿Quieres pelea? Vamos a darle en los Musk. Estoy listo. Soy hijo de Bolívar y de Chávez. No te tengo miedo en los Musk. Vamos a darnos pues. Donde quiera. Como decimos en Caracas, en los barrios. Si tú quieres, yo quiero en los Musk. Di dónde.
Just say where. Well, even if Elon Musk was to say where, I don't think he'd show up because you're a coward, mate. Any person that rules the way you ruled is nothing short of a coward. That's what you are. So here is the full explanation of what took place over in Venezuela. And look, the mainstream media happened to do some decent journalism when it comes to other countries. When it comes to their own country, like America or even here in Australia, they tend to do a very terrible job in having a fair reporting practice. I don't know why that is, but it seems to me that if it's got nothing to do with their own country, they don't really care about honesty and integrity. When it has everything to do with some other country, they've got everything like honesty and integrity on full force, full display. Don't ask me why that is again. I got no idea. But Maduro vows crackdown on Venezuela election protests after victory claim. So there's been a lot of protests happening. Chavez, statue of him was taken down, who happened to be a socialist dictator, which, as we know, does not work. The people are fed up. They're tired of a dictator ruling them. Hey, America, are you listening and watching? You better pay attention because this could be you very, very soon if you're not careful. And hopefully, God willing, the American people aren't that stupid and they do wake up and realize that having someone like Kamala Harris can end up like this if you're not careful. And election interference, America, are you watching? Are you paying attention? 2020? Yeah. How'd you get 81 million votes for Joe Biden? For goodness sake. But anyway, authoritarian leader vows to squash what he calls violent counter-revolution as more than 700 arrests are made. Tens of thousands of anti-government protesters have returned to Venezuela's streets to decry Nicolas Maduro's alleged attempt to steal Sunday's election as the country's authoritarian leader vows to squash what he called a violent counter-revolution. So what is it exactly that you are doing to your country, Maduro? Gee, I wonder. And more than 700 arrests were made. Maduro's disputed claim to have won the vote has plunged the South American country into another chapter of unrest and uncertainty, which has spooked regional governments. Because guess what? If this is happening to Venezuela, the likelihood of it happening to your country, near you, is quite high, especially with the policies and what's going on in the West at the moment. It's ridiculous. I cannot say that I am relaxed. I'm not. I'm worried. I'm leaving here worried. Celso Amorim, the envoy of Brazil's president, Luis Inacio Lula da Silva, told The Guardian on Tuesday morning as he prepared to fly out of Caracas after meeting Maduro the previous day. I would be worried too. I'd be severely worried because the likelihood of you actually leaving Maduro's presence, oh boy. On Monday, thousands of residents of poor communities once loyal to the Chavista revolution marched through Venezuela's capital, Caracas, in a striking demonstration of the widespread anger sparked by Maduro's claim to have beaten his rival, the ex-diplomat Edmundo González Urrutia. I think he won, fair and square, believe it or not. Maduro has said he won the election with more than 5.1 million votes to his rival's 4.4 million. But the opposition insists they won by a landslide with 6.2 million votes to Maduro's 2.7. On Tuesday, the demonstrators were back after Gonzalez and his key backer, the prominent opposition leader, Maria Corina Machado, called on followers to continue their protests. It's obvious that we won. We crushed them. 70% of the country is against the government, claimed one of those to answer their call, a 35-year-old administrator called Ana Maria Gonzalez. It's just terrible what's happening over there. Gonzalez celebrated how so many residents of low-income communities were turning out to challenge the alleged power grab. The barrios came down, she said, using the local word for Venezuela's poor hillside, favelas. This hadn't happened for so long. Another protester, the human rights activist Leda Brito, 65, shed tears as she spoke of fury at the alleged fraud. I would be angry too. I really would be angry. I can understand like a lot of the concern and a lot of the frustration and anger. If you are people that are being subjugated under a dictator and his rule, it'd be like Kim Jong-un and he goes, oh, you know what? I'm not dictator for life, but I'm going to allow an election process. All my people vote for me, but it doesn't matter if you vote for me because I'm still going to be there. Like, what is the point? It's just like, you can tell everyone's just going, we want justice to be served. And you're not going to get Maduro out of his seat without a little bit of unrest. Let me just say that. You're going to need a lot more than just protesting to get Maduro out of his seat. We want political change and we voted for it. But Nicolas Maduro and the Electoral Council have robbed us. They have stolen our dreams. They have stolen the dream of our children being able to come back to Venezuela. A lot of people are actually leaving Venezuela. And guess where they're going? America and other countries too. Brito said of the historic exodus that has seen about 8 million civilians flee abroad, including her children who live in Chile and the Dominican Republic. Thousands of anti-Maduro motorbike riders, mostly from the barrios, swept through the streets of Caracas, honking their horns and waving flags. This is Patere representing. This is Patere representing. We are coming down from the hills and the government is going down, shouted one rider as a tsunami of vehicles pushed ahead. As public anger grew and the Caracas residents began stocking up on food for fear of even greater turmoil ahead, there was also mounting international condemnation. The Organization of American States released a scathing report from its election observation department. Funny how other countries love to condemn other countries for their election interference and fraud and all that sort of stuff, but they can't even do a fair election themselves. Unreal. It's like hypocritical, if you ask me. So they accused Maduro's regime and Venezuela's government control electoral authority, the CNE, of employing a coordinated strategy. Seems like they're using words they actually employ themselves to ignore, deceive, and defraud voters. Sound familiar? The evidence reveals an attempt by the regime to ignore the will of the majority expressed the ballot boxes by millions of Venezuelan men and women, the report said, describing an array of illegitimacies, vices, and bad practices during the electoral process, which culminated in the CNE handing Maduro a deeply suspect victory. Nicolas Maduro's regime has once again betrayed the Venezuelan people by promising to respect popular will when, at the same time, it was doing everything possible to manipulate and ignore that will, the report said, arguing that the result deserved neither to be trusted nor to be democratically recognized. Speaking to The Guardian on Monday night, Machado urged Maduro to accept that his 11-year rule, during which Venezuela has suffered a catastrophic economic and humanitarian meltdown he blames on the US sanctions, was over. He should understand that he was defeated, Machado said, rejecting Maduro's claim that his victory was irreversible. I will say his departure is irreversible, she said. Under growing pressure at home and abroad, Maduro's administration has pushed back, describing the protests as a foreign-backed far-right conspiracy, as they normally say, to overthrow his government and force the Chavista movement from power after 25 years. Mate, your reign is about to come to a ever-crumbling end, so move on. Jorge, I think it's George Rodriguez, a close Maduro ally who is president of the National Assembly, summoned supporters from the impoverished barrios to march on the Miraflores presidential palace on Tuesday afternoon to celebrate a victory and rally behind the embattled president. They want to turn this country into Argentina, extreme right, and we cannot accept this. Well, guess what, mate? Argentina is flourishing at the moment, and the people love it. But you just want to destroy all of that and take away the rights of the people. So anyway, the story goes on and on and on. Unfortunately, the people that want the right leader in a position of power, I just really hope that the people end up getting what they want. The majority has spoken. It's time for Maduro to step down. And if you guys want to see Elon Musk fight Maduro, I certainly would pay to watch that. I really would. I think Elon Musk would wipe the floor with Maduro if it is a fair fight, but it looks like that Maduro fights dirty. So Elon Musk has got to fight even dirtier. Remember, he's got the mindset of a honey badger. You don't mess with honey badgers, man. They'll F you up big time. Anyway, my friends, thought I'd give you guys an update on what's taking place in Venezuela. If any of my followers are Venezuelan or anyone that you know is Venezuelan, let them know that my thoughts and my prayers are with you during this horrific time. But you guys take care. You be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.